All right. So we are live, even though on my webpage it always says that it's still setting it up. But I noticed when it says live on Zoom, we are live. So I'll wait for this to refresh. What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome back to another edition of Mindset Monday with Mike and Mike. This is honestly, man, this is probably my favorite one. Like, I do a lot of different content by far. This is my favorite stuff, like no question, because everything else just follows this.
Yeah, likewise. You and I have been talking about this weekly for probably a year and a half now, and I'm glad that we get to share it with other people as well. So let's get into it.
Yeah, 100%. So you want to recap for the folks that missed last week? What were we talking about last week?
Yeah, last week was all about writing down your goals and writing them down daily. It's something that I've been doing for 6 weeks now, and also having accountability to that as well. And just getting very clear on why you're writing those down. And then as you write them down and see them, what we're going to talk about today more is visualizing them as well. But that was last week. So Mike, if you want to kick it off for visualization, let's do it.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So this week, as Mike said, is all about visualization. And some of you have probably heard it, but like success leaves clues, right? So you see, this is like half of my book collection. I still have a bunch in the garage. I need to fill the other bookshelf. But I just picked like a handful of these. All of these books, now you got Success Principles by Jack Canfield, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, Psycho-Cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, T. Harv Eker, Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill, Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard, Attaining Your Desires by Genevieve B. Rand, and The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. You know, these are all people that studied success and studied goal achievement, and they've written books on it. They dedicated their life to it. And one of the common themes in all of these is the power of visualization. And I've experienced it firsthand in my life over and over and over again. So first off, you want to write those goals down, right? So if it's short-term rental related, you know, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have 5 short-term rentals that are generating me $5,000 a month in profit consistently, something like that, right? Then what you want to do is after you write that out, you want to take at least 2 to 5 minutes to just sit, close your eyes, and visualize yourself like you already are doing that, like you've already achieved it, right? So how am I going to feel when I am getting that 5K, 10K, 20K, 50K a month, whatever your goal is, consistently? How am I going to feel? Do I feel more confident? Am I feeling grateful? What types of trips am I planning? Like, who's on my team at this point? What does my life look like at that point? And you want to see it in vivid detail. Okay. We think in pictures, right? You have your conscious mind and then you have your subconscious mind. 95% of our life is on autopilot. It's run through our subconscious, everything from our breathing to all of our internal organs, everything. But we've all had that experience when we were tired or we were in the zone or whatever, and you drive to work, you drive to the grocery store and you park and you're like, I don't remember driving at all, right? It's because you're just on autopilot. Like your subconscious takes over and you just go. So the key with visualization is it's reprogramming your subconscious to start acting for you, right? It's building those habits. It's looking for those opportunities subconsciously without you even realizing it. So you're going to start to notice more opportunities. You're going to start to attract more things your way. And it's literally the key. But when you're visualizing, you want to make it super, super real, right? So as an example, last year, I wanted to get a new truck, right? So in my head, I was visualizing getting a brand new Denali 1500 pickup, all these different things. I ended up driving it, and then I drove a different truck. I drove the Ram, and I ended up falling in love with the Ram. So then every day after I test drove that truck, when I was driving my Jeep, which I used to have, I wasn't driving the Jeep anymore. I was feeling the wood steering wheel of the Ram. I could feel the new leather seats. I heard the amazing stereo as I was playing my music or the podcast or whatever I was listening to. Like, I was no longer driving that Jeep. I was purely driving that truck. Within like 2 weeks, that truck was in my driveway. Like, I ended up just getting the truck, right? And so whether it's a truck, whether it's a goal, you know, you guys have heard me say I'm working on my golf game a lot right now, right? If I look at the best pro golfers in the world, they all say the same thing. They visualize the exact shot they want to hit before they hit it, right? Like all of them. So it's like success leaves clues. So you want to have these macro visualizations of what your big goals are. But anytime I go into a meeting or I do something like this, I'll just take 60 seconds and visualize what is the ideal outcome I want from this meeting and how do I want to feel when I'm done. And I'll just visualize that real quick. So then when I get into it and we're doing this stuff live, I've already done it in my head. So that autopilot just kicks back on and we just start going through it and I manifest what I visualize. And the more you get into this habit of visualizing what you want and making that part of your daily routine, personally, I do it in the morning and at night. And then throughout the day, I'll do these little micro ones like before meetings, like I was saying, or whatever else. But like find a time that works for you that you can just stay consistent with it. So what do you think about that, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an athlete. I grew up playing tennis, played in college, played a little bit professionally, and I always thought through visualization before the match, before every even point that I played. I would know exactly where I'm going to serve the ball. I know exactly what shot I'm going to hit next, and then just kind of take it on step by step from there. You stole my golf example a little bit. If anybody watched the British Open yesterday, Colin Morikawa, before every single shot, and he won, by the way, before every single shot, he would sit behind the ball with his caddy, and they would talk about the wind direction. They would talk about the slope of the lie. They would talk about the slope of the green. They would pick a spectator behind the green that they would want to hit the shot into and which way they were going to hit it. And they just visualized the shot with like very finite details. So they already hit it. And all they have to do is stand over the ball and execute. So it's super powerful. And I mean, right now I'm doing it with a weight goal of mine. Like I have a weight goal to hit before the birth of my first daughter in a couple months. And I'm not really thinking about how I'm going to shed the weight. I'm thinking about how I'm going to feel when I am that weight, but also maintaining that lifestyle and just living that lifestyle. And I'm already seeing it. So right now I'm living it. I'm not at that weight yet. I still have 3 or 4 more pounds to go, 3.5 to be exact. So you can do it with a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be sports. It could be a weight goal. It could be a fitness goal, or it could be, I've always, like my sister, she has a cookie company right now, and it's a little stuck. Like she's making a lot of cookies, but she doesn't know her exact dollar amount that she's making per cookie and how much the ingredients cost. So I told her, like, visualize, like, what do you want your dollar cost to be or your cookie cost to be? What do you want this business to look like? Who's working with you on the business? Who's doing your accounting? Who's doing your taxes? Who's setting up your LLC and things like that? So it can relate to a lot of different things, but if you can really visualize it clearly and hold your mind to it, then everything else is going to attract, because you've already done it. It's just executing on that plan and allowing yourself to free up and not let the fear come in of, oh, I don't really know what to do, because you do. It's just visualizing it and executing and pushing through that little bit of fear.
Yeah, I'll read a little excerpt here. So I have a daily, Mike was talking about accountability. I have a daily morning partner that I read with every morning. And the material that we read, fluctuates week by week, but this particular piece that we were reading the last week or so is by Neville Goddard, who I mentioned earlier, one of his books. I'll just read this, okay? You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled until your assumption has all the sensory vividness of reality. You must imagine that you are already experiencing what you desire. That is, you must assume the feeling of the fulfillment of the desire until you are possessed by it, and this feeling crowds all other ideas out of your consciousness. Okay, so you want to see it in vivid detail, and you want to repeat it over and over and over again, so that becomes like your mental obsession. Okay, so it clouds out anything else deviating your focus, and you laser in on what is that one thing that I'm really trying to dial in right now, and just focus on that and seeing it over and over again. But the trick is to see it like you already have it. You have to have that emotion behind it of like, I already have this and I'm super grateful for it, which is why when I teach people how to write their goals, I always put it in the present tense. I'm so happy and grateful now that insert goal, because that's the key. Because too many people, they set these goals, but they're more like wishes. They're not actually like declaring and demanding of themselves and their higher power or whatever they want to call it. They're like, I am going to do this. This is exactly what I'm going to do. I may not know how, but I am ridiculously clear on exactly what I'm going for. And when I can visualize the outcome over and over again, the road to that, the roadmap, the how of it just appears over time. I've done it so many times in my life, and it's the same path over and over and over again. So you just need to get really clear on what you want, which we talked about last week. And then you need to see yourself achieving it over and over and over again, right? Whether it's the golf shot, whether it's the business thing. Back in 2018, I ran a marathon for the first time. I had never been a runner ever, but every time I was on a practice run, if it was a 5-mile run, it was the last 5 miles of that marathon. And every time I was crossing that finish line, visualizing myself with my family at the finish line, feeling amazing, feeling super grateful. So then on race day, like I'm feeling primed. And there was a lot of stuff that hit the fan on race day, and I had bad cramps and I didn't feel good and all this stuff. But I knew there was never a doubt that I was going to finish that race because I'd done it so many times in my mind over and over and over again. So if you can do that and implement that every single day, I promise you it is drastically going to expedite how quickly you hit your goals. It's never a question of if I'm going to hit them, it's how quickly am I going to hit them.
Yep. And you said it multiple times there, is you have to do it as often as possible or every single day. You can't just do it once or once a week and expect it to just all of a sudden happen. It has to be consistent and done every single day. And that's when it's really going to pay off.
So to give them a little tactical piece, like when do you do your visualization?
Mornings. I actually texted this to one of my accountability partners this morning. I used to dread Monday mornings because Monday morning is, all right, the weekend's gone and I got work the entire week and the weekend's now 5 days away. But now Monday mornings and really mornings in general, I get very clear on what I want, writing down my goals, visualizing them, and then I know what I need to do the rest of the day and what I get to look forward to for the rest of the day as well. So it just sets the intention for the day. Just like goal setting, it sets the intention for whatever goal you want to hit or whatever life you want to hit. And doing that in the morning, do it with some coffee. I usually do it after we walk the dogs and after we talk about what we want. And what our plans are. So that's when I do it. I know you're similar as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely big on the morning and at night. So in the morning, I have my routine again, whether it's a workout day or not. I know every single day I'm going to take a shower, and I'm fortunate I got a nice steam shower, which I love, and it just totally zens me out. So like, that's just part of my steam routines. Like I'll go in there, take a steam, and then I'll shower. But as part of my steam, even if it's just 2 minutes, I close my eyes in there and I visualize exactly what I'm going for, like my big goal. And then any meetings or anything else that I have going on during the day, I visualize those going exactly as I want them to and getting the outcome that I want from all of those. Because I know I'm going to shower every day. So I'm going to stack those two habits. And then at night, the last thing I do when I'm in bed, I turn on the monitor for my son's monitor in his room, make sure that's on, make sure the doors are locked, set my alarm for the next morning, review my calendar for the next day, and then I visualize, I give my subconscious intentions for that night. So it's like, while I'm sleeping, these are the things that you're working on for me while I'm sleeping. So one, healing my body so I'm 100% healthy and feeling great every day. Then again, searching for those opportunities in line with my big goal. And then any meetings that I'm going to have the next day, how do I want those meetings to go? So if I do that in the morning and at night, and then before any big meetings or anything like this, it's just over and over and over again. Like, and it's funny because in school, is like, I look at my 5-year-old, he's using his imagination all the time. But then as we grow up, it's like, what are you doing? Like, stop, like, get out of there. Right. Like, it's like poo-pooed to use your imagination. And it's the complete opposite. Like, if you really want to go for something big, like Branson and Musk and Bezos right now, like literally going to space. Like, how long have they been visualizing that? How long have they been seeing that in their mind? Years, right? Years upon years upon years. But they're doing it. And the problem is most people aren't dreaming and visualizing big enough. Like, just don't worry about the how. Just pick what you want and just see yourself as you already have it. And the how will work itself out over time. And then it's on you to just take that action, even when you're scared, to just do it. Because if that's really what you want, you just got to do it. You got to go for it.
Yep. I love it. Limitless.
That's it, man. That's it. That's all it is. It's just it's in between these two ears. That's all it is. So anybody have any questions? I see we got a few people on here live. The replay will be posted. So if you guys have questions on the replay, feel free. You can post them in here, tag Mike and myself. We'll be happy to answer them for you. While we're waiting for questions tomorrow, again, every Tuesday at 4:30, we've got the Mike and Mike show talking all things short-term rentals right before our regular mastermind community call. So Karen said, do you ever use flashcards for goals? Personally, I do not, but I know a lot of people use vision boards because, again, it helps them get that clear image. The biggest thing is you want to have a clear mental picture of what your goals are. You want to be able to see it. So, when I was looking for the truck, like I had a picture of the truck over here on my whiteboard, right? So like I could see that over and over and over again. That's why in the mastermind and some of the other coaching programs, like week 1, I teach people to make that goal card and keep it in your pocket because it keeps it top of mind. Like what is the goal that I'm working towards? So every time I put my hand in my pocket to get my keys, to get my wallet, to get my phone, whatever it is, I feel that goal card and it reminds me like this is what I'm working towards. And it just keeps smashing it into your subconscious until it becomes a reality.
Yep. Yeah, I've got an income goal that I want to hit through our real estate investing business. And I write it out every morning. But I also visualize what I'm doing. So every month, and it's an income goal every month. So every month, at the end of every month, or really the first of the new month, I do the books for the prior month and see how much we made through our business. And I do it through QuickBooks. And I take that data, I export it, I put it into an email, and I send an email to my wife and some of our other co-host partners. Well, I leave them off a separate email, but I send, hey, this is how much we made. This is what our revenue was. This is what our expenses were. This is what our net profit was. And so I visualize that for my goal, which is 20K a month. And I visualize that every day. So, and then I've got the vision board behind us. Can't really see it, but it tracks all my goals weekly as well, and the progress that we're making.
100%. You can even make it like I got this from Steve Harvey. He was speaking at Grant Cardone's conference a couple of years ago. He made his phone background his vision board, and you can go on Canva and literally make a iPhone or Android like screen, put all the pictures on there, and make that your vision board. So every time you're looking at your phone, you're literally looking at your vision board. So he's like, Steve Harvey was like, dude, most people have pictures of their dog on there. He's like, I love my dog, but I see my dog every day. So why not turn my phone into my vision board? And again, you can go from Steve Harvey to Oprah to Grant Cardone to all these giants playing in the game today. They all visualize, all of them. They all are very clear on what their goals are, and they all visualize. So why wouldn't you do, like I said, success leaves clues. I'm doing it. Mike's doing it. All these other like people so far ahead of me are doing it. So I'm like, I'm not the smartest guy. I follow what works, man. I hire mentors. Like I get into masterminds with people that are playing at a way higher level than me. And I'm like, how'd you do it? And then I just execute. I don't question it. I just execute on what they tell me to do. Jeff said, how far out do you set your goals? Do you have 3 years, 5 years, and then work backwards to break down the tasks to reach that goal? Yeah, I mean, I have a 5-year vision, which I shared a little bit last week. That was an old one, but I do have a 5-year vision. Mike and I talk about that offline all the time. And, I've shared mine. He's working on his right now, getting more clarity around that. But I do see that. But what I'm laser focused on is like my 1-year targets right now, which will get me to that 5-year vision. And then like, there's a couple things like I want to write a book, right? So I'm seeing myself like having the book done, having it published, like holding it in my hand, like doing book signings, like all this kind of stuff. Like I'm seeing that and it's pulling me into action. Even when my calendar is full, it's like, dude, start writing, like just start writing, and it's pulling me into action. Same thing with like, I've been going back and forth on hiring like an executive assistant for myself for a while. And now I'm just visualizing who is that ideal candidate and what are they taking off my plate to free me up to do more of the stuff that I love, which is stuff like this, right? So what type of other admin stuff or property type stuff could they take off my plate so I can keep doing more speaking engagements, more podcasts, more content like this, and how good that feels to be able to do that, right? So it's measured. Yes, there's a financial component to it, but it's more like, what's the impact? Because at the end of the day, like I've said this a few times, like the money's great, right? Like I have a lot of freedom to pretty much do whatever I want, and that's awesome. But when you get to the point when you're not worried about bills anymore, it becomes like, what is my purpose, right? A lot of people never get to that point because they're always just trying to pay the bills. My focus, like my mission is if I can take the money piece off the table, like if I can help as many people as possible get financially free to let them focus on what they actually want to focus on for their life, the world would be a better place. Like, period. So like that's my little piece. And it's a blend of the tactical of how I did it with short-term rentals and the mindset of how you can literally apply this to any business in your life, whether it's a job, a career, a business that you own, whatever it is. This is a constant. The mindset stuff is a constant no matter what. So Jeff, yes, you definitely want to have ideally a 5-year vision and then work backwards from like, all right, if I hit these targets by the end of this year, I know I'm going to be on target for that 5-year vision. And that vision can change over time. Like mine has changed over time, and that's okay. But you just want to keep recasting that North Star for you, something that you're working towards.
Yep. Yeah. And if you're having trouble figuring out those timelines or figuring out what you actually want, like do some research on people that have stuff that you want as well. Like, I look at the owner of one of my favorite hockey teams. I'm like, all right, he's living a certain life. He has a certain mindset. I want to live like him. So I'm trying to pick up different nuggets, listen to different podcasts he's on, read articles that he's written, read his book to figure out, all right, this is how he lives his life. These are some of his goals, or these are some of the things that he's done. So I can just replicate that. So
100%. All right, cool. Anybody else have any questions before we wrap up this Mindset Monday? I'll give it another 15 seconds because I know there's a delay, and then we'll wrap it up. And again, remember guys, a couple things. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, every Tuesday at 4:30 Eastern Standard. We've got the Mike and Mike show talking all things short-term rentals, strategies, tactics, technology, all sorts of stuff related to short-term rentals. And then make sure you check out the Short-Term Rental Secrets podcast, where E and I release new content every single week. Today, we released an episode with my buddy Jeff from Host GPO. Really cool interview. I didn't realize how many properties he was running at one point till he pivoted to being a service provider in the industry through Host GPO, which is a really cool company. He had over 250 properties throughout his career doing short-term rentals, which was really cool. But yeah, I mean, I was checking out the stats earlier. I mean, we're over 33,000 downloads, which is amazing. So thank you to you guys that do listen. And I get DMs all the time, people thanking me for getting them into this and all the stuff that they've learned. And to me, I mean, that's intrinsically, that's the stuff that drives me, right? Like I'm actually making a difference. You know what I mean? Because that's why we're here, right? To give you guys the actionable content. And then that little kick in the ass to just be like, all right, now go do it. Like, don't just sit on it, go do it now. Okay. So anything you want to wrap up today, Mike?
No, this was awesome. I'm looking forward to doing these every Monday and sharing different tidbits, but also answering questions or anything else the community wants to see.
Love it. I love it. Well, as always, guys, thanks so much for showing up, playing full out. This Mindset Monday and the Mike and Mike show right now, it's exclusively in this Facebook group. So it's not published anywhere else. So this is content specifically for you guys. So if you have questions, you have different topics that you want us to cover, just post them down in the comments. Let us know. And we'll see you guys all tomorrow, Tuesday, 4:30 EST for the Mike and Mike show. That's it, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.